Have you ever been stopped in your tracks after a storm, just staring at a rainbow? It's got to be one of nature's most beautiful shows. And while it feels like total magic, it's actually just some really cool physics at play. So, how does it all work? Right. That's the big question, isn't it? How do two of the most ordinary things on Earth, sunlight and water, team up to create something so extraordinary? Well, the answer is somehow both simpler and way more amazing than you might think. To really get the whole rainbow, we first need to zoom in. I mean, way in. We're going to follow the incredible journey of just one single ray of sunlight as it collides with one tiny little raindrop. So let's set the stage. The entire spectacle kicks off with just these two main characters. You've got a beam of what looks like plain old white sunlight on one side, and on the other, you have one of millions of tiny, almost perfectly round water droplets just hanging in the air after it rains. Okay, so the first thing that happens is this process called refraction. Think about it. The light ray is zipping through the air and then, bam, it hits the much denser water of the raindrop. It's forced to slow down, and when it does, it bends. This first little bend is absolutely critical for what comes next. But this is where it gets really cool. As that light bends, something else is going on. See, that white sunlight is secretly a bundle of all the colors of the rainbow all packed together. This bending action, which we call dispersion, basically pries those colors apart and forces them to separate. The magic is starting to happen. So now you've got these separated colors traveling through the raindrop. They make it all the way to the back, hit that inner surface, and bounce right off, kind of like a tennis ball hitting a wall. That's reflection, and it's what sends those beautiful colors back towards the front of the drop, right back towards us. So let's just quickly recap that whole trip. The light ray enters the drop and bends. That bend splits the white light into a whole spectrum of colors. Those colors bounce off the back, and then finally, as the light leaves the drop, it bends one last time. It's this whole four-step dance that lets the colors escape and reach our eyes. If you've ever played with a glass prism and seen it make a little rainbow on the wall, well, you've seen this exact thing happen. And what's wild is that every single raindrop hanging in the air is acting like a tiny, perfect, natural prism. And the result of all this is that familiar spectrum of colors we all learned as kids. But have you ever noticed they're always in the exact same order? That is no accident. Red light actually bends the least, so it's always on the top, on that outer part of the arc. Violet light bends the most, so it's always on the bottom, on the inside, every single time. Okay, so that's the science inside one single tiny raindrop. But a rainbow isn't just a tiny speck of color, right? So how do we get from this one little microscopic light show to that huge, magnificent arc that stretches across the entire sky? Well, here it is, the big reveal. That incredible journey we just followed, it's not happening in just one drop. It's happening at the exact same moment, in perfect sync across millions and millions of individual raindrops all hanging there in the air, basically forming a giant invisible movie screen. And here's the most important piece of the puzzle. A rainbow isn't an object. You can't touch it, you can't fly to the end of it. It's an optical illusion that only exists from your specific point of view. You see it because your eyes are in the perfect spot to catch the light exiting all those millions of raindrops at a very precise angle. It's 42 degrees to be exact, to form that perfect, colorful arc. So, now that you know the science, you can actually use it. Spotting a rainbow isn't just about getting lucky. It's about knowing exactly where and when to look. So here's your simple guide to go find one for yourself. There are really just 3 simple rules. First, and this is the most important one, the sun has to be directly at your back. Second, you need a curtain of water droplets in front of you. That could be rain, of course, but also mist from a waterfall or even just the spray from a garden hose. And third, it works best when the sun is low in the sky, so think early morning or late afternoon. If you can line up all 3 of those things, you are in the perfect spot. And that brings us to one last, just fascinating thought. Since the rainbow you see is made of light from raindrops reaching your eyes at that perfect angle, the person standing right next to you, well, they're seeing a completely different rainbow, made from a completely different set of raindrops. It's your own personal, unique light show, created just for you in that one moment. So the next time you see one, just remember that what you're witnessing is something no one else in the entire world will ever see in exactly the same way. How cool